Asdin Shanin is an applied AI research engineer, a Google developer expert in machine learning, and a mentor at the Google for Startups AI First Accelerator. اليوم راح بارطاجي معكم كيفاش بين التك كوميونيتي يقدر يكون perfect stepping stone for breaking into the AI startup world. So without further ado, مرحبا بك معنا عزدين شنين. Now the stage is all yours.
يعطيكم الصحة صاحبتكم. جلست على نتعافر مع الويندو. اسكوكم تشوفوا في الويندو صغيرة كيما نشوف فيها أنا ولا تشوف فيها كبيرة بريزونطاسيون؟ اوكي كم تسمعوا فيها؟
Bon, oui, راح يتبان.
اوكي دونك look what I would do c'est que تبان كبيرة هكاك problem c'est que I'm not seeing the screen. اوكي معناتها مانيش نشوف الديسكورد اون كاو معناتها واحد حب يسأل سؤال ولا يقاطعني دونك إذا تقدري معناتها تقولي لي ça sera bien. اوكي
Oui, ماشي بروبليم.
اوكي باي.
صراحة.
اوكي we start. دونك بالنسبة للبريزونطاسيون هذه ما راح تكون معناتها تكنيك ولا راح تكون فورمال مي راح نهضر بالدارجة يعني الدارجة شوية مخلطة دونك راح تسمى شوية الجيروال شوية اكسون معناتها تونيزيان شوية انجلي دونك سيروني معناتها في هذه باسكو جو فوا كو معناتها درنا بزاف معناتها لي بريزونطاسيون تكنيك مع جي دي جي من داك معناتها مليح هكاك انسان يدير بريزونطاسيون ما we discussed معناتها stuff اللي concern everyone من ناحية الكارير من ناحية معناتها الباث اللي واحد حاب ياخده معناتها après graduation. I assume معناتها most of the attendees are students. Even if you are not student, you are at an early stage in your career, then I think this can be helpful. Donc some of you know me, some not. It has been like 5 years since I graduated from EZ. I've been in GDG RGS for 5 years. At that time, we were like a small team. I think I'm very proud about the progress the team after I graduated made. I checked Instagram today, 20k followers. I remember the day where we created the profile. Document at 20k, so it's really amazing progress since then. Yani. Since then, I joined a startup, an early startup called InstaDeep. And afterward, I became a GDE in machine learning. Recently, also, we've been helping startups in the MENA region, Middle East, North Africa, and also Turkey. They are early stage startup, and most of them are based in the UAE and the Gulf region. No, كيفاش بدأت السهرة هذه it was just told by Nadir. I think he's the manager بتاع GDG. The request was kind of weird, and not weird in terms of like it is weird, but weird in terms of like what should I do, what should I present. It was more about like a reflection on my career, what I did. I don't assume that I'm like it has been a long time since I started my career. 5 years. 5 years for a career is small, but I think I do have some ideas that can be useful. I wish someone told me about them, and ماذا بيا معناتها بارطاجيهم مع الناس اللي they are starting their career. So as you can see, I started at GDG. At this picture, we were painting local. Now it's هذاك الوقت كان ما كانش باهي كيما دوك. It's mostly like last time I visited, I remember like 1 year or 2 years ago, it was completely changed. صافي plaisir. I joined Tunis, spent some time there. I hear some people. Is there a question or? Okay, no question. So I joined a startup in Tunisia. I spent some time there. I became GDE, as you can see, and we were a small team, as you can see on the left, working on a product called DPCB Pro. DPCB is like an AI platform. Nowadays, AI platforms are like the regular term how you name your website. May 2019, 2020, an AI platform on the web was really rare. The goal is like to build AI agents that would design a chip in 24 hours. This chip generally it takes 7-8 weeks to be designed by a full team of hardware designers. But what we aim for is to use what we call like a horizontal scaling, machine learning, so we can like accelerate this speed up. the speed up of the designing a hardware chip. Okay, donc what should we talk about today? I thought about many stuff. I think the only thing I can really give feedback on is something I've experienced myself, which is like, is it worth it معناتها to join a startup? معناتها وش هما اللي ريسك اللي قادر تاخذهم انك you join a startup؟ كاس only reward معناتها when we are talking about rewards we talk about rewards من ناحية معناتها personal rewards معناتها من ناحية النفسية تاعك كيفاش راح تكون après you are like consistently working in a startup for a few years, also your technical skills and also what is important the financial gain of joining a startup باسكو معناتها شئنا ام ابينا يعني at the end it's work. We know that we need to enjoy it, but you need to have some reward for the risk you are taking, and also like some realities. For example, what are the misunderstanding some people have regarding like an AI startup versus like corporate, which is a big company, and which path is the most beneficial for you, at least at this stage of your career. Gonna be like really short, really quick, five steps. Mostly we're gonna define what is an AI startup, what differentiates an AI startup from corporate company. What is the financial playbook? This is very important because usually people meant to start a startup, which is like a high risk, high reward scheme, like a company scheme. So they can have like a financial gain, real financial gain, and find like a hack in the system. It's not like you have a salary, but more of like you can have a good exit after a few years. Third point is how you can execute. So once we understand what is a startup, why you would join a startup. Third is how to execute, how to start, from where to start actually, okay? Fourth point is reflection, personal opinion, what I think you should focus on, some recommendation regarding how to navigate like a startup journey. And the last thing, which is like the main theme of this presentation, which is like Sahra GDG, because I want to hear your opinion. Also, we need to exchange our opinions, because that's what mine. I would love also if some of you would answer some other people asking questions. هكاك معناتها we have an exchange. Help me معناتها what you are thinking, and also I can like share with you what I believe, which is just an opinion. Also, it can be good, like wrong, it can be correct. It's not like rocket science. Okay, first point, stepping into the arena, parce que it's really an arena, as if you are in a battle when you join a startup. It's a high risk, but at the end you have a dream, you have like a goal to achieve, which is like associated with a high reward and high risk, as I mentioned. Okay, quelles sont les caractéristiques d'un startup when you join? Généralement, when you join a startup, it's a small team, it's a big goal. Contradictive, the team is small, the goal is big. It's like Sparta. I don't know if you watch the movie 300 when they face the Persians. It's like 300 people facing a full army. It's the same thing. You are like 5 people, 6 people in a team when you start, and you start with the goal of building an end-to-end product with millions of users probably using it. That's the big dream, okay? So when you start, you are part of a mission. It's not like you are a tool or you are replaceable. At some point, you are not replaceable. You have like a commitment to the team itself and to the mission. If you quit the team can fail completely because it's only you knowing how this piece of code operates. Well, it's only you اللي يقدر يحل some problems the team can have. But généralement ما تلقاش two people working on the same thing. In big companies, généralement واش يعملوا c'est que you work on something for let's say 3 months and you have a rotation. They rotate you because if you stay for a long time working on an individual thing, if you quit that company, they can't replace you. So what they do is that you work 3 months here or like let's say 1 year, and then they oblige you to switch team and someone else will replace you. وانت تعمل by example knowledge sharing. Even when our team grow with time, لقينا رحنا نعملوا هذا الشيء because people, you have like what we call a turnaround, people quit. So ماذا بيك انت you don't have a single point of failure. ديما يكون عندك انسان ولا اللي يقدر يعلم انسان اخر كيفاش يخدم هذيك لا ميسيون باش اونكا هذاك لا بيرسون هذيك خرجت, there is also always a replacement. But when you join any startup, that won't be the case. You are معناتها مراكش replaceable. Second thing is dynamic roles. Your title doesn't matter. That which we are, as they say. And one day you are coding, the next day you are looking at profit margins, the third day you are in a meeting with the CEO trying to shape the product. So the only constant is change, and you are always trying to be flexible and try to change your role even just so you can serve the mission. And I think this is the ultimate form, yani, for an engineer. You are a problem solver. Your mission is to solve a problem. That problem can be a financial problem, can be problem related to the users, can be like a problem related to the regulations, or like how to craft a contract with a big company, how to talk with lawyers. It's like it's crazy, but that's the fun itself. Okay. Third thing is like cutting edge tech. I think that's also nice about a startup, is that you are free to use whatever you want as long as you are serving the mission. And if you find an old project in a big company, تلقاهم دوكا par exemple يخدموا C++ 12 par exemple version 12 دوكا رانا معناتها C++ 20. They can't upgrade because the code is so big to the point where you can't like just upgrade the version. So you work on legacy code. And it's their right, but probably it's not something you would enjoy to do it for a long time. With a startup, no, you are free to use whatever you want. You are free to use Code Assistant. Most of you now probably know about Cursor. If Cursor comes up, we don't care about privacy. We care about it like شوية برك ماشي حاجة كبيرة. But at the end, if it would help you being more productive, you would use it. Nobody cares as long as you contribute to the mission. Fourth thing is high risk, high reward. It's very risky. You can fail. Actually, like the moment you create a startup, the startup gonna die. Okay, so it's like a resurrection mission. You are trying to like bring someone from the dead, because like you think that you are in a dream to make like a big product, but in reality, when people from the outside look at you, you are dead. You don't exist even in the market. So it's a high risk, but if you succeed, it's gonna be really rewarding. Okay. واش قادر معناتها ستارت اب تعلمك؟ Generally, I think it's two things. First thing is معناتها adaptability كما قلت. It's the most important thing, معناتها it becomes part of you as a person, not only as an engineer. You become problem solvers and you tolerate risk. Risk is something normal to you. Even sometimes you miss being in risky situation because that drives you actually. So like I said, the new model came out yesterday. Tried today. A big customer send a request, no problem. Like directly go and try to find a solution. You can't say no to a customer. Whatever the customer said, you say yes. We can do it. Sometimes you lie, not lying, but you say yes, then you execute. You don't like fool the customers, but rather like make big promises, but deliver at the end. Ship on Friday, so it's a Friday. People generally they push the production on Friday. In a startup, it's like I don't know, it's like an edgy way of doing things. So you ship on Friday. If it breaks, probably you're gonna fix it in the weekend, probably on Monday, but whatever it takes, it's okay. You're gonna become also a product thinker, so you always think about the product. But you don't do tech for the tech itself. Generally, at least myself, when I was a student, sometimes teachers teach us about the tech, but they don't tell us about why we even use it. You are not a machine. You are a problem solver. And you are not just a tool where we can plug you into like a system and you fix that bug. I think it's ideal, Manta, if you think about the product, about the business, how you can move the needle when it comes to you solving this problem. Okay. Some of you would say startup versus corporate, which is like a right to ask. Disclaimer: this is my personal opinion. And when I say a corporate company is like, for example, company like Meta, Google, etc. These companies with thousands of employees. What is the difference? So معناتها كاش واحدة آخر من الأخرى مي سي بلوتو معناتها ça revient à toi وين راك دوكا وينك حاب تلحق معناتها aussi الكونترانت اللي عندك what stage you are in your career, what are the gains you are looking for. So startups, for example, offer ownership, speed, breadth of experience. You use many stuff, you get involved in many discussions. Big companies, par contre, talk mentorship. You learn how to do things the right way. Because came people who are there who are going to teach you how to do things. But in a startup, généralement, you find yourself doing things and that كما يقول لك عصامي. You learn stuff by yourself. And if you don't know how to learn stuff, probably you would learn them and the bad way, which is even worse than not knowing stuff. So you would have like a bias on how to do things, which is actually wrong. So هنا c'est encore pire. So neither is better. Les deux معناتها قادرين برا يكونوا success. But startups are ideal معناتها if you crave like a ride of a lifetime معناتها, especially if you are early in your career. You don't have a lot to lose. You are like fresh. You can work probably extra hours. You just want to have fun, okay? You just want to have fun and say what if. So the startup is like the answer of what if. The corporate, if you join the corporate, you would succeed. Not necessarily you would succeed, but you know if you succeed what you would get. The hierarchy معناتها باينة. Me a startup, you don't know what is like beyond معناتها كما يقولوا the mountain. Donc what if خلي لك معناتها كما يقولوا فسحة l'imagination ديالك. It can be a good story, and it can be a story معناتها people are gonna make fun of you because of it. معناتها it's gonna be a full failure. But if you never try, you never know, right? So this is the difference between corporate and startup, in my opinion, I would say. Okay, this is the most important thing, I think. So let's focus here. If you do have questions, please ask me. So it's the financial playbook. Why we don't even care about starting a startup, okay? So when you join a startup, généralement راح تسمع quelque chose comme capital equity. يقول لك okay, I give you low salary with high equity. So هذا وش يعني? Especially in the West market, like here in the UK or especially in the US. I don't know about France, but there are like a lot of startups there. I don't know if they offer like the same scheme, but most probably it's the same scheme. I know people in like Paris also that had a good exit for their startup, acquired or APO, I would say. Okay, so راح نبدأ startup. Let's say in your garage. What are the parts and what are the steps you go through until you have your what we call financial exit? Okay. By a financial exit, I mean you get money for the equity you hold in that startup. Okay. So first, what we can call is startups goes through what we call funding stages. Funding means people are going to give you money, becomes part of your business, and انت راح يولوا شركه في راس المال ديالك, يعني اللي هي ستارت اب بحد ذاتها. دونك جينيرالمون حنا عندنا باغ اكزومبل في الجيري من يقول لك ندخل معك شريك في راس المال, سي كالكو شوز معناتها باغ اكزومبل يشري باغ اكزومبل 25% تاع الحانوت اللي راك حاب تفتحو اكسيتيرا. مي من ناحيه ستارت اب نو, it's like you do have what we call stock options اللي هي باغ اكزومبل نقولوا 1000 نقولوا I would take 100, so now I'm 10% شريك معك في ستارت اب هذه. And each time معناتها you grow your startup, you issue more shares ولا تبيع معناتها une portion من الشيرز اللي تملكهم, so you can like grow the pie, grow your startup. And each معناتها step you're gonna do this, it's called like a funding stage. Each step has a name and each step is associated with the scale of your company. At the end, would happen what we call like as you can see on the right, a liquidity event اللي هي عندك stock options. Now we need to liquidate those options, and each option gonna have like a value. That value can be a price, and it can be like physical money. It can be also part of another company if you got acquired. Généralement the scheme is either they give you money for the stock options you have, or they give you like part of their company. Let's say I'm a company, you are a small startup. If I would acquire you, I would give you part in my company, given the valuation of your stock options. So as if انت راح ندخلك معايا شريك, mais en même temps راح نشريك. معناتها نشري ستوك اوبشنز، سامحوني على الكلمه هذه، مين نشري ستوك اوبشنز يعني مش نشري. دونك okay, البداية it's what we call a pre-seed or seed. So pre-seed is when you do have an idea, the idea is promising, you don't have like an MVP. So it's more of like an idea. It's a high risk. So généralement, people they use their own savings. Or par exemple, they approach their family members or their friends and say, okay, I have an idea. They pitch the idea for them. And if your friend is rich and trusts you enough to give you money, then they would not lend you money, but give you money and be part of your business. Generally, people هادو اللي يدخلوا مع البداية يقول لهم angel investors. باسكو علاش؟ It's an angel, معناتها you have a high risk, you don't have anything in معناتها في التيران. He trusts you enough معناتها to give you money. So generally باش تعطيهم حصة كبيرة، مش كبيرة بزاف، راح تكون كريم معهم. And there is a part أخرى اللي هي seed. تماك يكون عندك باي اكزومبل ما تكونش معناتها درت حاجه كبيره دير معناتها مع السكيليت معناتها بصفه كبيره، مي بليتو عندك وات وي كول ان في بي. بدات معناتها الايديا تاعك تاخذ الشيب، بدا معناتها عندك ابليكاسيون كيما نقولوا ولا عندك بلاتفورم، بديت على الاقل معناتها تبين باللي you have معناتها you have a potential in the ground, not معناتها just in the clouds with your ideas. هنا aussi معناتها you get people involved. Then you start معناتها acquiring users, you start making revenue. What we call a funding stage after that is Series A, B, C, D, E, F. Generally, people go through A, B, C, then have an exit event. They don't go through E, F, etc. And هنا ماشي راح يجيك معناتها ما راحش يجيك معناتها one guy اللي يعطيك كيما نقولوا money ويدخل معك شريك، mais c'est plutôt what we call venture capitals or VCs. For example, in Algeria we do have a VC. It's like an entity created by the government. عندهم a lot of money. Généralement VCs معناتها in other countries it's like people who are like who dispose of a lot of cash. They want to invest your money, so their money معناتها ما راحش يروح بالانفلاسيون بالتضخم كما نقولوا، باسكو your money if it's like liquidated each year it loses value. Okay, so it's better to invest it. Usually people give their money to these VCs who are good at finding startups that is where they are good investment.
عزين
وي تفضل.
السلام عليكم، تسمع فيا؟
اسمع فيك تفضل.
اوكي عزين اذا تقدر برك ديزاكتيفي لاكام باسكو ديسكورد عندهم واحد الكونديشن هي انك تكون حل لاكام يليميتيو الفويس لبان 5 بيرسون برك، كاين بيبول ما قدروش يدخلوا تما هنا قدروا.
وي بيان سور. اوكي ودوكا
يعطيك الصحة.
تحبوا نستناو معناتها بيبول يدخلوا ولا وي ريزيوم؟
كان ريزيوم دوك يدخلوا الباقي.
اوكي باي. اوكي دونك واش قلنا بلي you do have like VCs. For example, in Algeria, you do have a VC created by the government, and the government معناتها gave money to that VC اللي هي also part of the government. So the VC invests in many startups. This is like a kind of a VC that exists in Algeria. والVC هذا ما راحش ينفستي في نيمبورت كال ستارت اب، مي الستارت اب هذيك لازم يكون عندها كيما قلنا برودكتس، يكون عندها يوزرز، تبين معناتها بوتنسيال انها معناتها تكون عندها فيتشر معناتها بريون كيما نقولوا. So generally هادو الفاندينغ ستيجز we call them series A, B, C. Generally 3 funding stages. هنا واش يصرا سيكو يصرا what we call dilution. نعطيكم اكزامبل. بار اكزامبل نقولوا كاين كومباني من لحقت سيريس A، الفالويشن ديالها معناتها من تقومها بار اكزامبل بارابول بوتنسيال تلقاها 10 مليون دولار. اوكي let's say you own 1%, not 1%, let's say 10%. okay 10% donc what you own في الكومباني هذه. okay let's change the example a bit. Let's say the valuation is 100 million. Okay, so we make it simple. You own 10%. So what is $10 million? Okay, when you onboard the new investors راح البورسنتاج ديالك راح ينقص باسكو new people are within the company now. donc نقولوا راح يولي 7%. This is a dilution. Okay, but the valuation تاع الكمباني راح تزيد. For example, let's say it became 15 million. Donc malgré que your valuation معناتها your equity will at 7%, now it's worth more than 1 million. 10 million, sorry. It's worth, let's say, I don't know, 12, let's say 12.5, given معناتها the adjustment. Donc, the more you onboard new investors, يصير what we call a dilution. معناتها you own less and less and less. But the fact that the company is growing, معناتها the pie is growing, your معناتها absolute value of what you hold increases, although معناتها the relative value of the equity معناتها you hold decreases, as if now you are growing the pie. This series معناتها راح يتعاقبوا كما نقولوا series A, series B, series C. تلحق what we call liquidation event. You have two type of liquidation event. عندك يا إما a company comes and acquire you معناتها تشري الكمباني اللي راك فيها، ولا الكال الآخر اللي هي what we call going public. company ديالك دوكا it's a private معناتها company society privée اللي عندها CEO etc. عندها board member مي it's private. من تولي معناتها جوتي en bourse اللي هي going public راح باي اكزامبل تولي القيمه تاع الستوك اوبشنز ديالك خاضعين للعرض والطلب. اي واحد يقدر يدخل في راس المال تاع الشركه وانت تقدر تبيع في اي وقت. كاين دي ريستريكسيون بارابور وقتاش تبيع اذا كنت داخل الشركه. This is what we call like a way of avoiding what we call internal trading. For example, let's say you know باللي الكمباني ديالك راح تخرج برودوي الشهر الجاي. Donc what you say is that راح نبيع الشهر الجاي. This is internal trading. هذه ما يعاقب عليها القانون. باسكو now we are using an internal information to make a financial gain. Donc واش قلنا؟ It's either company acquire you هذه سهلة معناتها they give you your money and you are good to go. معناتها كما قال لها قبضني قبضتك يعني ديريكتومون. ولا عندك going public. Going public it depends معناتها تخضع للعرض والطلب. You have what we call like an initial price. دوك الكمباني ديالك واش راح تتعاقد معناتها مع what we call like investment banker معناتها ولا investment banks راح يقول لها by example what is the valuation تاع الكمباني given معناتها your achievements. يبداو by example نقولوا one stock is $100 وابري سولون العرض والطلب يا اما معناتها الشيرز هذاك والسهم هذاك يطلع يا اما يطيح. It depends معناتها if you want to buy if you want to sell early ولا you want to hold and wait for the company معناتها to becomes a union معناتها a trillion dollar company. For example كاين people معناتها بكري وقت people sold معناتها their معناتها stake in Apple. دوكا even though it was 2% دوكا 2% is 2% out of $3 trillion اللي هي je pense $300 million يعني. You see معناتها the potential. And especially if the company معناتها keeps growing let's say for 10 years or 15 years. Okay, donc what are the key concepts? حاب تدخل ستارت اب what are the key concepts اللي تسألهم عليهم معناتها كما قلنا معناتها تسي انك تعرفهم قبل ما معناتها تانجاجي مع الستارت اب ولا ما انك تحق تعرفهم يعني en general معناتها even if you are in a corporate because you never know معناتها when a company معناتها when a startup present itself and see you valuable as a team member. Donc واش قلنا first stock options and vesting. You need to negotiate that معناتها you tell them okay what is the salary, what is the stock options معناتها package وقادر توازن ما بين لي دو. It depends on where you are in your career. Let's say if you are young and takes a lower salary but you have higher stock options. But if you are let's say old معناتها ما نقولوش old mais let's say you don't want to take risk, okay? I don't know, you have a family or something, donc you are not so tolerable to risk, which is like having family معناتها is not an excuse, but I saw people معناتها with families معناتها taking such a risk. Mais let's say it's the norm. Donc ماذا بيك انك توازن ما بين what you have salary, what you have as stock options. Because you can't ask a startup to give you a high salary because it's a startup معناتها ما عندهاش معناتها the money to pay you. But you can ask for more stock options. You need to pay attention to the dilution and percentage of ownership as I mentioned. Surtout معناتها if you want to join a startup ماذا بيك تعرف which stage you are at معناتها اسكو pre-seed اسكو seed اسكو series A B C باش تعرف انك as I mentioned the earlier معناتها راح تدخل في startup the more معناتها part of the pie you're gonna own the more valuable your pie معناتها your معناتها pie is. باسكو علاش if you go into a startup early هما يقول لك okay you have 5%. هما في مخهم معناتها 5% is let's say 10 million. May 5% even if diluted after let's say 3 or 4 years باش راح تولي by example 15 million. Donc you see the earlier you get in the more reward you're gonna get at the end. كما قلت معناتها immediate compensation versus long term gains. معناتها if you join a startup you won't join معناتها for 6 months and quit or 1 month ولا 1 year by example. You know that you are joining to make a long term goal. So let's say you're gonna commit for 3 years and see how things are going, and you معناتها try to stay more if you see potential, or you quit if you see that this startup is doomed and on its way to failure. And you negotiate equity. You always try to know what is the average equity this startup gives for engineers, and where are you compared to the average. And these are also always a useful term to negotiate. Don't always negotiate just the salary. There are other stuff like bonuses and bonuses given performance, retention packages, etc., etc. So the salary is one option of the package any company can give you. It's not everything. And usually it's like it's a trap because salary you get taxed for it way more than potentially like getting taxed for other stuff. So pay attention to it. Okay, execute. This part is technical. I don't wanna spend a lot of time. It's Sahra, it's Ramadan. We don't wanna talk about code and engineering. I think with GDG, especially GDG Algiers, we spent a lot of time presenting some useful resources. Especially these had 2 presentations. Mostly these 2 presentations are not for one thematic, thematic وحدة, mais c'est plutôt about a list of resources you can use to onboard yourself into the agentic infrastructure, which is the hype now. Everything is agentic. And also the other one, which is like ML engineering jetpack. If you want to be like more of like an ML engineer, hardcore ML engineer focusing on model building, although it's a bit old, but I think it's still useful, 2023. You can like go here and see some of the stuff like I thought it's gonna be useful for you. It's a QR code. You can scan it now, or I'm gonna also give you a QR code for this presentation, and from here you can like go and visit this presentation. It's like a linked list kind of. Okay. Reflection. So this is more of like a personal opinion that I try to share with you here. Mainly 3 stuff. First, what I would suggest, like, try to normalize your decision making. The sort, this is not even in restricted to work, but in everything. Try to the framework upon which you make decisions. And I think one of the framework I see most rewarding, especially for us as engineers, is regret minimization. It's one of the framework like Jeff Bezos, Amazon of CEO recommend. It's like, don't project about what you will gain now in any decision you make, but it's more of like 10 years from now, 15 years from now, which decision I would regret most not making. Joining startup can be one of it, because you don't know like what is the answer of what if, you see. The second thing is like focus on ownership and leverage. As I've mentioned, the startup is cool because it gives you ownership. Even a corporate gives you ownership now. And especially if they can't jeter en bourse, let's say Google, they're gonna also give you like equity. But it's for you to choose, okay? But what I mean about leverage is don't just earn with your time. And you as an engineer, you are the product. And you don't value the product you don't just rent the product, which is you, okay? You also give value of your time, not your time, but your contribution outside of time. Because time is limited, right? 1 year, 2 years is 2 years. But your contribution is 1 year is unlimited. You can contribute way much than another engineer given the same time. So this is leverage. Code is leverage. If you can deliver more to the product in 1 year and get rewarded based on how much you are contributing to the product, not just the time you're spending contributing to the product, that would be good. Always think this way, I would recommend. Third thing, help others, seek mentors. Try to help people, and whenever you can, share with people opportunities, and even like try to teach them. The best way to learn something is to teach it, because it, like teaching, push you to learn as an expert. And also seek mentors. You have no idea, how many people are eager to help. Just seek mentor. Just go to someone who you think can be a mentor for you and ask him a question. And you never know, how many doors he or she can open for you. And also, you never know, this guy or this woman is really eager, to help other people. Parce que the most, I would say, fulfilling way of having I don't know, fulfillment on what you know is by sharing it with others. Because the more you share whatever you want, ما راح ينقص يعني. So try to ask people, seek mentorship. So that's always helpful. And try to have a mentor. Always try to have 2-3 people who, when you're gonna make a decision or go into a journey, you're gonna always trust their advices. Probably some reads.
May I have a question?
Yeah, of course.
How do we know this mentor is a good mentor for me, for my project?
That's actually a good question. It's like, I don't know. I would say it's like going to the gym, and the person who gonna ask for how good the movement is the person probably sometimes with the most appealing physique. I think it's the same. It can be the same thing as a face value for a mentor. At the same time, you can find some people with with a good career, but they are not they didn't cover what you actually wanted. Don't try to see yourself in the mentor. Try to really know what type of career you want, what type of adventure you want, and seek a mentor who actually took the same career path. Not an example. I can't go to PhD a professor in a university, with all my due respect, which is a great thing, and ask him about joining startup, for example. Or if I want to make a PhD, I would ask him. If I want to join a startup, I would go and look for someone who succeeded in having a career path in a startup. Okay, this can be a mentor, and I would look for the contrary, someone who had a successful career in corporate, and compare the two advices. أنت تاخد القوش والدروال كما يقولوا. And generally, a good mentor can be someone who you like their energy, more than their career. The career can be a good face value, but if you look at the person, and you feel that their energy matches the energy you want to acquire on the long term, try to ask them. And it's learn by doing. Sometimes you ask mentors, تندم اللي سقسيتهم يعني. This is a funny thing, يعني you ask them, morale will sub zero. Oh no, you don't do it, etc. You're gonna find these stuff, but I think with time you're gonna attract mentors who are gonna match your energy. I hope this answers your question. And I think what comes next, I'm gonna direct you on how to find mentors, just so we can proceed. There are these 2 books. The first one is by Naval Ravikant. It's really good book, I suggest. It's what is the definition of work and success, and how you seek work that is the most pleasing for you. And the second book, also which I highly recommend, is Mastery by Robert Greene. It's what is your life task? What is you as a child, you had some characteristic, and with time we get into square, which is society put us in. You just want to fit in, you just want to become part of a machine, which is the industry, and that's it. But if you discover your life task, what you like doing, then work becomes fun. you tend to enjoy it. The shows come work-life balance, etc. They won't become appealing to you because work is life, and you just find your balance by nature. You don't have like to follow a guideline for work and life balance. Okay. Also, some books also I think they can be helpful. At least for me, they were helpful at some point. It's like how to know about yourself, like your type of energy that you want to project, and that would help you to seek mentors that match your energy, and also how to manage people. And the most important thing, who are like which teams you should work with. There are some teams who are great, but they don't match your energy. They don't match the way you want to operate. So even if you are a good contributor, you don't feel yourself within that team. That doesn't mean they are bad. They can be good, but it's not the right fit for you. There is a book like Laws of Human Nature. It's nice. It teaches you like how to manage a team and how to navigate your way in a team, because in startup the team is small. Like most people in the team becomes your friend, and it's like not necessarily your friend, close friends, but just your friend because you spend a lot of time together. So it's nice, and like you navigate your way throughout this nature of people you work with. Also, the fourth book is The Physiology of Money by Morgan Housel. It teaches you like and risk, when to take risk, what is like, and can you actually like be consistently lucky, and how like being a failure for many times and having only one success that is magnificent can like cover all your bad investments. So these are 4 books that I would recommend. You can find them in the presentation at the end. So
Excuse
now
me,
let's discuss. Yeah.
I'm sorry. So you said بلي قريت هذا 4 books, or let's say the 2 last books. Does these books satisfy, or let's say respect, the religious conditions of working with money and working with people?
I think they satisfy that. Of course, look, when you read the book, you're gonna find ideas that you agree with, ideas that you don't agree with. So like ما تروح المرشي يعني ما تروحش معناتها من تروح المرشي ما راحش تشتري كاع الخضرة اللي كاينة في المرشي. كاينة خضرة تنقيها، كاين خضرة معناتها you keep it. This book معناتها can hold معناتها stuff اللي don't of course معناتها ما يتماشاوش مع لا religion ديالنا، مي مليح تعرفهم يعني. كما قال له من تعلم لغة قوم سلم شرهم. تغدو من ذاك especially if you go into startups, you go into like companies where you are managing equity. They tell you about like a schema of working other than having a salary. ماذا بيك تعرف اسكو راك في حاجة اللي هي حرام ولا حلال، ولا ميم تيب دو بروجي قادر تيب دو بروجي you are working on a project where the intent, like the financial project, the intent is nice. You build the platform, etc. Mais on معناتها في التيران it's not good. So ماذا بيك انك you know the financial system the West is relying on, especially if you are looking for an adventure in the West. By example, if you are a startup in Algeria, by example, we want to raise capital. If you raise capital from Algeria, that's fine, assuming that our country follows the Islamic guidelines. If you want to raise capital, by example, in another country, which is completely legit, you need now to understand the things I'm doing right or good, like right or wrong. Like if I give you a line of credit with the interest at the end, or I can give you a schema where it's what we call riba, then how are you going to know that if you don't read books that explain to you how this thing works? Donc, even though some of the stuff, especially in the financial system, are bad, you can like navigate your way through it. باسكو عندك عقيدة اللي تتبعها يعني bien sûr. And you have also the laws of human nature is completely like is depending on how like there are some stuff you take into consideration, some stuff like you project on your beliefs and you align. So don't take anything face value. Always try to have your critical mind. You are at the end an engineer. There are good thing and the bad thing, and you filter. Okay, so that's my answer. I think that I hope that would answer the question. Okay, now let's discuss. I think give me whatever question you have. if someone want to answer, go ahead, answer. And yeah, let's have some fun.
Well, I see some questions in the chat.
Mhm.
The first question says, what is a good path? Pros and cons. Is it work in startups and then land a job in a corporate, or the opposite?
Sorry. I'm hearing something. Is it a question? Or... Okay.
Hind, your voice sounds muffled. شغل ما نسمعوا فيك bien.
هكا لاباس؟
Oui.
Much better, yes.
اوكي. واش حبيت نقول لك سي كو when people start young ولا كي تبدا في ستارت اب oriented بكري you don't know how things work. تسمى you start figuring things out وحدك which makes you build things اللي عندهم identity different على واش كاين. par contre كنت تكون you fit in the system يعني خدمت for too long راح تلقى روحك somehow you fall in the trap of following what other people did. so اسكو تبلك باللي it's better زعما بنادم حاب يدير project in the long term يديماري من الأول كاع with the reinforcement learning شغل يديرها ويشوفها نجحت ما نجحتش حتى وين يلحق وين راح ولا better gaining work experience in big corporates which I don't think they give you secrets to their work على كل حال بصح يعني working with the big enterprises and then ending up with a product of your own.
That's a good question. I would say at the end, it's what I would give you is an opinion, okay? It can be completely wrong. It can be right for you specifically. If you start with a corporate, in my opinion, I think you as if like in a corporate, you are just, in my opinion, I would say, in my opinion, like with the strong, bold line, because each corporate is different. There is a corporate where it's the ultimate bad corporate, and there are corporates which are flat, like meritocracy. Which are like they operate as a startup, but they are operate. When it comes to an operate, you become a brick in the wall. Okay, you become replaceable. You just like do your job fair and square. You do your job 9 to 5, you go home. That's it, and you get paid for the time you are like contributing with. I don't like that. I think, especially early in your career, you get like a niche view on what you are capable of doing. You don't put yourself in a position where you can fail, especially if the corporate is doing static work. There are some corporates that are doing great things and they can challenge you. In a startup, you learn more about yourself. It's no one will tell you what to do. They just tell you make it happen, and you navigate your way. You're gonna like connect with the builder within you. You become a builder. You just know how to build things out of nowhere. But there is a problem with that, as you've mentioned, regarding the like reinforcement learning approach. تعرف it's a good path or not. You always try to have checkpoints where you reevaluate where I am and does it match where I'm heading. For example, you don't go into a startup and you have what we call wishful thinking. You say, okay, I'm a startup. That means that I'm successful. No. It can happen that you are in a startup and you are in your highway to failure. You just have checkpoints, let's say each 3 months, each 6 months. You say, okay, where I am now. You ask people. Probably you're going to see some other examples of startups similar to yours, where they are heading. You see the market. You say, okay, can I continue with this startup, or it's time probably to see elsewhere? Would you join a corporate? It can be a good decision. It depends highly on the corporate, especially when you join a corporate. Try to focus most on the team you will be working at. Because you can have like a giant corporate with many teams. Some corporate have like useful teams. They feel as a startup, the pace is high. Okay, in the other teams, they are not doing anything useful for this corporate. It's just like day-to-day work. Donc, you need to see which team within this corporate you'll be working on. Because what you're going to learn is not what the corporate is doing, but what the team inside this corporate is doing. I hope this answered the question. If not, then we can discuss, or we can give other opinion. I think the sound is bad now also.
هكا.
دوكا bien, yeah.
Okay. قلت لك I asked to know your opinion anyway بس على بالي باللي it's a debatable thing
Exactly.
كل واحد كيفاش صدقت له.
Exactement. And yeah, best thing is to explore. You crave your own path كما يقول لك. So go for it يعني. Okay. Let's probably have another question if there is any. Is there any question in the chat? I don't know. The chat is long, so.
معلش نسألك واحدة أخرى.
Yes, sir. تفضلي.
Okay. You are a research engineer. I don't know either you are speaking from perspective like before you start working in research engineering or after you started working in research engineering. But did research engineering help you in finding your role in a startup?
I would say like a funny thing, like in the startup, we have a Slack, and if a Slack meant each one write his or her meant her role. For me, I keep it a blank. Like that's which we are. It doesn't matter. Like especially when you talk with recruiters and we talk with people, you're like what you write as a role doesn't matter completely. Like research, I am like as a matter of fact, I'm a research engineer. And what I was a research engineer when I started. Like when I started, I was working on research ideas parce que le product can research product at that time. And كان مازال ما دخلته production. Then now I would say I'm more of like a machine learning MLOps engineers. I don't know, like I don't care even like about what I'm doing. More of like the product being successful. I would say
like your role name بالذات me actually what you do in your daily life باسكو إذا كنت oriented للresearch بزاف من بعد like in a startup context بالك your role حيكون in developing the product خير من negotiating deals ولا حاجة هكا تسمى your role حيروح للresearch كثر.
Personnellement, I will give you like two answers. The first one is just projection on my experience. Like when I joined, I didn't even like I wasn't like someone who was doing like research. It was just like doing pure engineering, pure like software engineering. And what I liked is that you can do ML and engineering for a product. Me, would you like focus on like what you are doing when you join the startup and you see exactly if it matches you? I think the further in like you go into your career, the more you need to focus on that, as you've mentioned. If you are starting early, you try to have a rough like estimation of the spectrum of tasks you're gonna be working on. By example, ما راحش انت خارج كما نقولوا engineer and you work on sales. That doesn't match what you are doing. But if you are an engineer, let's say with focus on research, ومن بعد the startup تقول لك you can do a bit of MLOps, why not? And you just explore. Probably you are better in MLOps than research. You see my point? Like, let's say if you have 5 years of experience, no, I wouldn't say it's a strong. No, it depends on you. But in my opinion, you try to build expertise. You try to add an expertise layer where you need to find you get paid for what you know. And if you change your what you're gonna do, probably people are gonna pay you less because you are less of an expert doing that. So you try to navigate more into the niche skills you have. Okay, I don't know if that's an answer for what you asked.
A good one, thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay. The chat has questions, or are we good? Okay, I don't see any questions here. Like, okay, this is the same question from Hind.
Hello, Asdin.
Oui, كمان ça va?
لاباس الحمد لله. My question regarding innovation in AI. Like, for now, maybe like with the LLM blow and everything, like there is a very increase in number of startups like specializing in LLM or just like engineering LLMs, like just solutions that are based on LLM. And there is like the other, we can call it the other spectrum of like of deep AI things that are still like training models and everything. Like, does this like LLM thing kind of like shifts like the startup move, like the AI specialized startup moves, and what would be like a wise like a choice? Is it like to follow like and taking advantage of this like LLM bloom thing, or sticking to maybe things that are based on like other types of other like fields of AI, like I don't know, still like vision or RL or things like that.
I see your point. I would say that there would be like a lot of answers to your questions because you ask like many hidden questions within a single one. Okay, the first one is LLM versus non-LLM. I think there is a company called Palantir. I don't like it. I don't like what they're doing, but they are like a solid company. What they said, في 2023 اللي when ChatGPT came in, they said that models are a commodity. Say a model is just a tool, like as it with time, the model would become a tool. Parce que علاش what companies do, they try to use term to drive the stock market. For example, when they started with AGI. But what is AGI? Why I should invest to get AGI? Doesn't I can't like quantify AGI. For example, just CEO of Microsoft, that tell them, okay, I don't care about AGI, but I care would AI increase the GDP of the world by 10%. Now, we are out of AGI. What we want to have is economic growth. If you are like starting, don't start with the tech, but start with the you as an engineer. Would I learn LLM or computer vision? And ask yourself what type of product I want to build now, and what like type of problems I need to solve, and then ask yourself which technology is the most useful. LLM can be one of these because what I meant because full stop. Second answer, when you said tell me RL or computer vision or other stuff. The good thing about technology, if you look at history, always stuff collapse to one thing. Let's say people who studied in easy كاين واحد الموضوع تقراو تروازيام اني يقولوا له تي بي جي you study a lot of type of programming, functional programming, PO and OOP, sorry, object oriented programming. كاين ياسر the ways of programming. Me at the end, people kept using OOP اللي هي object oriented programming, and everything collapses to that. même chose بالنسبة للنتورك bubble, معناتها the dot-com bubble. People came in with many models of معناتها لي موديل ريزو. Me at the end, everyone is using الموديل تاع سيسكو. It's the same thing for like mobile applications. Can yesterday معناتها the OS. At the end, we had only two, iOS and Swift. And now, as if not Swift, I mean like Android. And now, if you want to create any app, you use the two. AI is recent. At the end, I think people gonna get more focused on the app layer, more focused on the product layer, and use models as a commodity. And if you noticed, Kamal, for example, 2 years ago, we held the project Me and You where we were working on JAX, okay? I was asking you to do stuff in JAX and had the small operations. Now they say JAX is over-engineered, or TensorFlow is over-engineered. If I'm using LLMs, why I should worry about creating the models? Why I don't use LLM as a framework? Same as you use backpropagation. In TensorFlow or JAX or PyTorch, you use it behind the scenes. The logic is implemented way down the framework layer. LLMs can be that way. You can have an object from a framework, which is the case now with tools like LangChain, for example. The LLM is abstracted. Donc, with time, expect people to focus on the utility of the models themselves more than the hidden architecture. Now, if you want to be one guy who gonna push the state of the art of the model themselves, then you go with that choice. But you are getting away from the product layer and more into the research layer. So this way I hope my answer take the spectrum of how to think about a product, the models, and everything that is surrounding the models. Reinforcement learning or computer vision can still use large language models because the model itself is just a representation of the what we call the latent space. And you can solve it, and you can solve many problems, including reinforcement learnings with LLMs, let's say. I hope this answers your question, Akamal. Otherwise, let me know. Simplify.
Yeah, it answers it like perfectly. Another maybe question, like more of a personal one. Like as a student, like everything still seems interesting. Whether it's like deep research, like it will be times when you, for example, I work on something or just working with models or mathematics or something. It's interesting. Sometimes you get closer to the application level and just like abstracting AI and starting to brainstorm solution, and it's still interesting. Like just like to have like an opinion of like one who graduated and also have been worked maybe in research engineering, and now you're kind of like speaking about startups and everything. Like especially like in the context of AI, where did you like find the joy of it? Is it more of like the little details or like in the abstraction? And that's totally subjective.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I ask myself many times. Like to be honest, I don't I'm not biased towards AI. It's just like it was something that came into in the way. If like AI is good, like in terms of like the leverage it gives you and the type of the products it allows you to build. But I don't know how to answer this question, to be honest. Like I never like enjoyed AI for the sake of AI. Although like I had to learn it somehow. But it's the good thing about AI is that it matches perfectly what I like most, which is scaling. Like if you know about a paper from OpenAI called the scaling laws. So if you increase the data, if you increase the compute, if you make the model more complex in terms of size, you're gonna have a better performance with a diminishing return, of course. But it is like a simple way of having good algorithms without over-engineering stuff, but just scaling modules. You scale everything and it works by itself. And it can be replicated. It's easy like to replicate the atomic module of any machine learning models is just matrix multiplication, at least for now. So it was like so easy, not so easy like I would say so simple. It's not necessarily easy, but I think it was just fun to work with at the first place. But with time, you see that AI or a model is a commodity. What you want is to solve problems. And as they say, model problems require model solution. And probably AI is one of the model solutions we dispose of. So we just used it. That's it. Probably I'm wrong. So, but you can ask someone else.
Yeah. It's totally an opinion question.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your answer.
Thanks. Okay. Let's see if we do have a third question, sorry.
There is a question in the chat.
Okay.
It says, there is this thing that everyone says for people who are trying to start a project. Don't try to solve everything at once. And while I get that it's great to focus on making one good solution, sometimes a good solution is correlated with many other problems that also need to be solved. What's your input on this? And if you agree, how can you attribute a priority score for each problem?
I would say this is a good question. It's tricky. I kind of like, sometimes like you need to like sometimes like what is funny is that I think the best way to handle this is not to solve the problem. Like if you do have a problem, don't solve it. Like think about a way of solving it, and just go and ask someone who you don't know, but like about the problem. If it's actually a problem, that's the first thing, because if you believe something is a problem and only 3 people out of 100 believes it's a problem, then it's not a problem. Like given the scaling law, it's niche problem, and it has like a low probability of like any reward in the future being attributed to you for solving it. So that's the first thing. The second, try to explain your solution to someone, like without going into the tech, and see how many people agree on the fact that this solution can be useful for them, or they say, oh, I didn't think about that. Then you try to build that solution only, like one solution for the problem. It can be that it's a multi-dimensional problem, so you need like, if you do have like an app, you need like many features, but there is a single feature that distinguishes your app. That can be like a way to start, even though you always have the like the inner vision on how many problems you need to solve actually, which is like how many solutions you need to provide within your product to solve the full problem. But try to keep yourself away from that, because you're going to spend a lot of time trying to solve the problem and like getting away from the user feedback. So try to always have a fast loop of feedback between you and the people you are trying to solve the problem for. And to have like a faster loop or like a fast loop of feedback, you need to go step by step. You can't like what you need is that increase the velocity by shipping faster, but not shipping a lot. So you ship one solution, let's say each week. It's better than you ship 4 solutions a month, which is the same velocity, but I would say like the same velocity monthly, but weekly you do have like way less velocity. So this is what I think personally. But yeah, I hope this answers your question. Okay.
I have a question next.
Okay.
Bon, هذه question بزاف general parce que most of us here are DCS, WCS ولا fresh grads. So we want to know your opinion ولا advice على things you wish you had done probably in your last days as student بالDCS وطلع ولا كي كنت fresh grad ولا حاجة هكا. Like what are the things that you think we should focus on?
Okay. Lina, Camel easy, by the way, just a funny question. If it's the case, then great. Okay. If it's the case, then NCS يقوم troisième année في الجامعة يعني. Donc, okay. Stuff I should have done better. Let me think. It's a good question. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I think it's good and like you try many stuff. You discover that those stuff are not a fit for you. It's better than landing on something that you believe that it's the right thing for you. So I wish I've done more stuff and failed at. So I don't have like now the me mesmerizing about why I didn't do this, why I didn't do that. I would say like just try to do many stuff. Try to find the niche where you can like build an expertise. And to do that, you need to talk with many people, accept like many opinions on how to do stuff. For example, what I witnessed for my school at least, people try to be biased towards their specialties. ما تقولكش أنت par exemple في ليزي كان في وقتي كان 6 سيل سي generally كل واحد يقول لك this is better, that better. Actually, the 3 of them are better. Try to talk with people who are like in each specialties and see their perspective and even like try what they are doing, discuss with them, see what are the problems they are trying to solve. Try maximum and like, you do have many perspectives. So at the end, at least like you do have enough like exploration rate to the point where you can be greedy until you say, I want to do this. Otherwise, معناتها, if you don't explore much at the beginning, you can take a decision where you are sure that, not sure, but you are at least confident that it's not the worst decision you took ever. See my point?
Okay. Just to do with using AI thing.
Sorry?
Like by the time you realize you're not enjoying AI for the sake of AI. You're enjoying AI for Shindar. But does it have to do with the fact that you chose AI so early?
I think the funny thing is that when I, for example, this is actually a good question. It's like, I chose it, but for 5 years I never touched it like at easy. I've been like a software engineer. I've did like mobile development, web development. It's only at the 5th year, and I didn't choose it. It was chosen for me somehow. I don't know how. It's funny because like I wanted Manta to do a subject, and that subject was cancelled. So somehow I had a deadline to match. And at the end, it was the only deadline, Manta. The only subject I had is a reinforcement learning subject. So I chose it. And eventually, like, the rest is history. I joined the company doing reinforcement learning, etc., etc. So I can't tell you like I had a perfect like anticipation of where I would be landing. But at least I would say, if I do, معناتها إذا كان عندي العمام باش نعاود نولي, I would question why I didn't try learning about AI. معناتها at least I would have like built better skills before I finally chose it. So I was really like biased towards having mobile development, by example, at easy, which I would say isn't a bad thing, but it could have been better if I tried, let's say, mobile backend كيما كنت نعمل plus I tried say some AI. Probably it's gonna be better as a skill set when you graduate, which is the case now with many students graduating from easy. ربي يبارك معناتها. You see people graduating معناتها with papers already in AI. At that time it was like really niche. Now most people have projects. I see people doing CUDA kernels, for example, at easy in AI, which is great. Before, I don't know, it was like a probably stupid thing from my side, or I think now you do have access to more information, so you can explore many stuff, which is the good thing about GDG, about other clubs, easy, or other universities also. I think that's an answer.
عزلين
Yes.
تسمع فيها؟
Oui.
بون برك على سويت على الكويشن تاع هند. بون هي بالك في لا بيريود هذه تاع بين نقول كاتريام اني سانكيام اني حتى بروحك شغل بين واحد زوج حاجات وين لا فورماسيون تكون شويه اورينتي. كاين حاجات اللي اورينتي براتيك وكاين حاجات اللي اورينتي شويه تيوريك. واش الحاجه اللي نحكموها بيناتهم؟ انت واش الحاجه اللي تفافوريزيها؟ اسكو نروح نتعلم حاجات بوك بليس براتيك اكثر واش راني نتعلم في البراتيك وين نخدم دي بروجي وين ديبلوي حاجات كيما انا داكا باريزون سبيسياليتي تاعي سيل وين فيها بزاف لي بروجي وين فيها بزاف لي تي بي وكاين دي موديل شويه اللي فيهم بزاف تيوري كيما تيوري بروغراماسيون اكسيتيرا. بون على بالي بلي حاجه مليحه انه نقراها وكامل مي اسكو مليح انه زعما كي نكون وحدي انايا نروح ديبر في هذيك التيوري ولا نروح نبراتيكي وندير دي بروجي؟
لوك هي معناتها اولتها يعني من تكون سيل وسيك ولا سيت ما يعنيش that you are سيل ولا سيك ولا سيت. باسكو تعرف يعني باش تكون سيل باغ اكزومبل باش تكون سيك لازم تكون جايب موايا مليح. دونك دي فوا قادر ما تجيب موايا مليحه تروح سيل باغ اكزومبل. دونك ما تخليش السيل ولا سيك ولا سيت اورينتي معناتها واش راك حاب دير. قادر تكون سيل مي او فون راك سيك. there is no معناتها ما يهمش انك you can learn stuff تاع سيك في السيل. معناتها واحد ما يهمه معناتها في الدبلوم at the end they write معناتها computer science engineer. هذه وحده. second thing اسكو تكون سيل وتحب تعمل تيوري ولا تحب تعمل براتيك هذه كومبليتمون عندها علاقه بك انت. اسكو you are معناتها try things and see what excites you most. اسكو you are more معناتها leaning towards building products real life معناتها you like physical stuff ولا تحب دي شوز معناتها في الابستراكت. Some people for example someone asked me should I do recently if should I do PhD or like pursue a master and become an engineer and join let's say a company. In my opinion إذا كنت في بلاصتو I would do an engineer but تقول له معناتها just do whatever you would like most معناتها what you see yourself committing to it, because things would get ugly in the long term, not the long term, but at least things would get ugly eventually معناتها you would hate what you are doing, that's temporarily, because that's human nature, but you would love it again. So this like go معناتها back and forth between loving what you do and hate what you do, you only have it once you like what you معناتها you enjoy it, even if you don't like it sometimes. So it depends on you. If you see yourself more towards the product, you do it. More towards research, you commit to that. And I would say finally, don't let anything defines what you do. And titles, معناتها des diplômes, especially now معناتها 2025. 2020 بالك it was the case. Now in 2025, for example, I do have people working with me now, have technique maker. This is the first time I saw it when I joined InstaDeep or worked with teams, especially in London. C'est que they have PhD in physics. He knows computer. He did computer science. He said, "Which جاب هذه الهادية يعني physics, computer science." Actually, it's the same, and he's a problem solver. Someone who has like mechanical engineering background, master degree, doing research in I don't know, in computer vision. You see, wow, like there is a big difference. Why? But هذه معناتها الدبلوم واكيد باللي عندنا ياسر بايس معناتها towards it at least in Algeria, system francophone especially. But معناتها for system Anglo-Saxon, by example, let's say in the UK or the US, they don't really care about what you do more than the اللي pratique اللي راح ترفدهم while doing what you're doing. If you are SEAL, you can easily become SEAL in 3 months if you wish. There is no problem. So I hope this answers your question.
هي شوف تقدر تقول باللي ريبونديت لي على لا كيستيون بصح قول انا لا كيستيون تاعي اكزاكتومون كانت هي اسكو شغل باش نلونسي الكارير تاعي كيما على بالنا باللي في هذا المومون بالك ما بقاش كلكو موا هكا والواحد يخرج هكا الموند يكمل من اليونيفرسيتي وكامل واش هي ذا بيست واي باش تخرج بها اسكو عندك بورتفوليو فيه بزاف لي بروجي ولا اسكو عندك كورسيس مليح في لي نوت يعني كامل لا بليبار تاعنا هنا في الجزائر ماذا بينا تكون عندنا شغل
I would say it's a nice question parce que أنا par exemple ما كانش عندي دي بون نوت mais I would say you can do both. قادر يكون عندك دي بروجي بيان قادر يكون عندك دي بون نوت. Try to do both. Like don't choose one. This is the thing. This is one of the mistakes I've made. Like, you choose one. You do both. I know I knew people who did both. They have way better projects and they have good grades. Focus on both. This is a funny part. Focus on both because اللي not تحتاجهم not معناتها انك باسكو علاش ما تشوف لي نوت كانهم راح يخلوك you land a job مي راح يكونوا بروكسي ليك انت ماذا بيك معناتها if you are playing a game ماذا بيك يكون عندك الارمر ديالك 100% معناتها you don't choose معناتها this or that you take both but نهار اللي تلقى روحك باللي كما قال له واحد اللي بغاها كاع خلاها كاع نهار تلقى روحك باللي if you focus on both you would take none because معناتها it's you كل واحد different then focus more معناتها especially when you try to graduate إذا لقيت لي نوت ديالك معناتها كاتاستروفيك دورون لي 4 اني معناتها لي 3 اني ما راحش انك تريمستر الاخر في الدوسياس تجيب دي بون نوت فهمتني ما راحش ياثروا معناتها they won't push the needle. انا نعطيك باغ اكزومبل لي 3 اني ما جبتش دي ultra bon note دونك لقيت باللي سواء كان have a competitive edge compared to people who had good grades. What I can do is to work on other projects which I did. Donc you see where you are your competition which are actually people like who are gonna ask for the same position you are asking for and see how to navigate فهمتني. Donc you adjust. There is no like hard answer for this one.
اوكي يعطيك الصحة.
Okay. Me focus on both, okay? I did try to focus on both. Okay. Let's wait a bit. Otherwise, I think.
Maybe another question, like since we brought up like the engineer and PhD part, like
Okay.
like for now, like I don't know if I'm in a position like to make a decision, but if you have like some insights on like how does life look like for an engineer or for a PhD, and the career path, like the type of problems you'll be doing, like the type of tasks you'll be doing mainly, like how would life look like for an engineer or for a PhD?
Two things. The first thing I think is the fact that the green is always the grass is always greener on the other side. تحكم PhD تلقى عنده دي بروبليم انه دائما هي reminisce about engineering. تحكم engineer يبقى يشوف روحه معناتها imposter syndrome بارابور كان اللي عنده PhD. دونك اي شوا باش تختاروا دائما تلقى روحك تخمم في الاخر. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing, and I can only answer about engineers. I can't answer about PhD because I don't have one. I think about the engineers, c'est que the good things you can like build your own curriculum of what you're trying to learn while as aligning your curriculum with what you are doing. Donc je pense in my opinion par exemple في الكاد تاعي the first 2 years أنت تعاود تقرا la plupart des choses اللي قريتهم déjà مي تقراهم your own way. Donc as an engineer généralement دائما تلقى روحك you revise stuff you studied ولا you neglected while at school in your own fashion and link it with what you are doing. So that's for me the ultimate fun يعني. For a PhD I don't know. I think it's also fun for the people who liked it but who like it but I can't answer really. مي الشيء اللي حد معناتها يصير منه سي كو تحكم PhD تلقاه يخمم معناتها علاش ما داش engineering. The engineering has a better معناتها potential. تحكم engineer même chose. تلقاه يخمم كو علاش ما داش PhD would have helped him much. But at the end you only معناتها you can choose the cards معناتها you can only play them. صار كيما الدومينو يعني. You have a hand, you are an engineer now, play your cards. That's it. See my point?
Okay, and since you're an engineer, like something like to ask oneself, like what are like the things that one is maybe sees himself in, like to say that okay, I'm a fit for an engineer, and to be confident about like his or her decision. Like what makes you confident about a decision to be an engineer, like as a fresh graduate?
I think I look here mental PhD is an engineer at some point can engineer but decided باش يولي PhD فهمتني. Donc if you want to become an engineer as if like you branched out from the path of being a PhD انك تكمل الكوريكولم ديالك. Donc I would say واحد معناتها it may sound stupid مي واحد في قرارات سيكو I didn't have good grades to become a PhD so معناتها decision تخدات par défaut. Donc I couldn't take it. Donc ما خممتش فيها أصلا. That's one. نقولوا بالك شي if I had good grades which I don't think I would have أنت إني خديتهم. If I took good grades I don't know if I would do PhD. I think the only thing because أنت اللي ما يخلينيش I do PhD it's the time commitment. I don't know. I think in 3 years you can explore many stuff other than معناتها you do PhD. Unless معناتها you have PhD from great labs. Can people I know they have معناتها PhD let's say from New York University or from معناتها good university by example in France INSA معناتها by example or maybe they can also have an industrial PhD. By example if you do want an answer for this كاين des gens comme أمين عثماني كاين also أكرم معناتها دوكا باغ اكزومبل اللي عملوا نعرفهم باللي عملوا هما دي جي معناتها اكس جي دي جيز عملوا دي بي اتش دي اندستريال ومازالهم يعملوا فيهم دوك يعني. Donc probably they took the advantage of both fields اللي هي engineering and also معناتها the research. They can be like more qualified to answer this question. Maybe for my side معناتها from my side sometimes معناتها destiny take the decision for you. I didn't have good grades so I became an engineer. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
I hope you have good grades, but I don't want to like be in your place to choose يعني.
Yeah, alhamdulillah up till now.
الحمد لله. Nice. واثق من نفسك يعني. ربي يبارك.
Thank you.
Okay, let's wait for other questions. Otherwise, we You can wrap it up maybe also. Okay, what should we do? Another question, or we say bye-bye?
Maybe
بون
not
عزتين
question.
روح
Go
كمل
ahead.
تفضل روح كمل بس ماش كيستيون يا بوكو بليس دو موند.
Okay. This is mainly about maybe the graduation project because it's kind of like lots of effort. Like it's 1 year. Like how much of impact does it have like on a career?
Well, it's I would say it's the most decisive thing Manta you would choose Manta while working while at the university. بس علاش Manta كملت 5 years and the fruit of your 5 years is a project where you accumulate all your knowledge. So once Manta you go, for example, into the career field, you present what you've built, and what you build Manta for the final year projects is a testimony of what you know how to build. Because you had the Manta judging you, you had a mentor اللي هو l'encadreur ديالك في الuniversité, etc. I think you choose wisely if you do have the chance to choose, parce que ça dépend your grades also. But try mental maximum to you see the long term mental, see how this would benefit your next move. Think like 2 steps ahead. If you are willing to create like a apply for a PhD, ما تعملش projet نقولوا platform SaaS. That wouldn't like give you like a good like continuation towards your PhD. At least not bad, but at least not the best. Otherwise, Manta, if you are targeting a career in industry, if you land Manta your decision on a good industry project, that can give you like a good continuation. Mem CV ديالك, when people read it, they're gonna see a good portfolio, Manta, a consistent way of managing the field of projects. Donc, try to focus much on it. For example, I would say it was the only reason I joined this study parce que I was learning for network on chips. By luck, the project that I got into was learning for printed circuit board. It's where the system on chips lay on top of. Try mostly to focus on the next step, project it on the current step you are making, and from there you can make a decision.
All right. Thank you so much. That's insightful.
You're welcome.
اوكي سو عز الدين برك نقدر نقول لك باللي ماشي كيستيون هذه مي شغل بوكو بليس دو موند اند ثانكس باسكو ديجا ان بريفيوس دايز حكيت مع الجماعه تاع جي دي جي مع نور وكامل ودائما كانوا يمونسيونيوك باللي جي دي تاع جي دي جي الجيرس سو حبيت اذا تقدر كاش نهار سواء مور العيد ولا في رمضان هذا اف بوسيبل اذا كنت تجي لالجي ولا اذا تقدر تزورنا في اللوكال تاع جي دي جي. It will be really interesting انه نعاودوا نديروا قاعده واحده اخرى ولا في اللوكال اون بريزونسيال باسكو كامل الكور تيم تاع جي دي جي وكامل الممبر تاع جي دي جي حتكون شغل مرحب بك في اي وقت وماذا بينا شغل سارج كونتنت ما يبقاش توجور اون لين تما I invite you انك تجي لنا ان شاء الله اللوكال in the next few days. مام during هذه السيشن كاين بزاف اللي نحكي معاهم هكا بريفيو كامل قالوا لي باللي هذا السيد لازم تجيبوه كامل. يا خويا مرحبا بك ان شاء الله كاش خاطر تشرفنا.
ما على باليش اسكو بدلتوا الكادنا تاع الباب مي مازال عندي المفتاح دونك كان قلت
وي بدلناه هذا العام بدلناه امام اللوكال بدلنا سليكتير تاعو بزاف حاجات تبقى
دونك مثلا راني اوفيسيال ديناصور مي anyway if I come انت الجي ديجا انت tomorrow ما انت راجع اني فايت على الجي مي ما راحش نقعد فيها ياسر. I don't think I can make it. May eventually, Manta, of course. If I come, it would be a pleasure.
Okay, إن شاء الله. إذا كنت تجي ولا إن شاء الله نديرو سيشن شابة. يعطيك الصحة.
يعطيكم الصحة وصحة صحتكم. رمضان كريم.
صحة صحتكم ليك.
Bye.
يعطيك الصحة عز الدين شنين for sharing such valuable insights. From the importance of community to carving a path in AI startups, today's session was full of key takeaways. And of course, يعطيكم الصحة our amazing audience for being part of this session. Stay connected, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next Sahra GDG. صحة سحوركم وبسلامة.
سلام. Bye bye.